There's two of you.
You have everything because of a great conspiracy. How did I get? Yeah, it's kind of a creepy place, you know, because there's no light at all. They do a lot of experiments out there. Plutonium, nuclear weapon, nuclear destruction. They're just balls of light.
Testing 1 2 3. What's going on, everyone? Man, I hope y'all can hear me out there. You have no idea what I'm going through for you guys. Coming to you live from the Napa Valley wine country, the mystical Sonoma Mountains. This is Beyond the Strange. I'm your host, Dave Cruz. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Had a little technical difficulties. It's all good, though. I think we're making it through. Oh, man, so much going on. So much going on. You know, the whole reason why I'm doing tonight is because I have a 9 to 5, okay? I don't know if that's proper to talk about it on the air or not, but to be honest, I don't care because I'm just here to tell the truth right now. And right now, I am so freaking disturbed by what's happening in our country right now, because it's not just about a shooter who's shooting into an innocent crowd at a concert. This is a massive cover up. And I know there's tons of people who got shows like me who have covered this subject since the shooting. And I haven't had a chance to throw my hat in. Well, tonight is the night, okay? And I'm doing this on Google Hangouts because it's been a while. And you know, I'm hoping that my friends that are in Twitter will see the link, because for some reason I'm not able to invite you in. But Jerry Luciferius, if you can hear me, there's a link on my Dave Cruz at Strange Dave 70. There's a link there so you can get into the Google Hangouts. That goes for anybody who has Google Hangouts. Just click on that link, and that should get you right into the show. And speaking of guests right now, with me I have Casper Parks, and I have Mr. Joe Rupe of Lighting the Void and The Fringe FM. Casper, how you doing tonight?
I'm fine. I just it's been a weird day. I wrote a really long bad joke, so I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it later, but get some humor in there. But yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been real busy. I lost my brother-in-law last week, and then
I know
my sister had a heart attack as they were taking his body out the door, so she had a stent put in. And the memorial service for the cremation that was done will be Saturday. So it was so weird. As my sister was getting a stent put in her heart, I was with my uncle at an appointment that was set, a week and a half prior. They were putting a heart cath into his legs to check his legs. So that was just really bizarre. It was just kind of one of those really weird things, But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff in the news. You're right, Dave. Just really weird,
Really crazy, man. Really crazy. And Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Man, as always, I'm riding the wave, and I want to say hello to all the listeners on the Fringe FM right now. If you're listening to this is not a replay. It is live indeed. So thanks for joining us. And if you want to come over and join on YouTube, we might pop the camera on a time or two, and you can join that chat over there as well. But I'm doing pretty good, Dave. Other than that, and I want to say, Casper, man, dude, I'm so sorry you're having this going on with your family and stuff, man. I can't imagine what you're going through. So my heart's out to you, brother. I know that's rough.
Yeah, it's been a weird 3 or 4 years. My mother's health is really poor, and we got her into a nursing home in March. And she's like really short, and because her arteries are 80-90% blocked up by the heart, one's not functioning at all, and her legs are like swelling up really huge, and she won't lay in a bed. So we took that out and put in a power recliner, but we can't get her to recline at night because she's afraid to recline. And so I don't know, but she could hang on like that for a couple of years, and we're hoping. But we'll see. It's one of those weird things. Just how life rolls. My mom's 82, so and we're lucky to have her around yet.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, man. Another person that I know lost a loved one, and it just seems to be happening. And unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, what happened Sunday night is just, it goes beyond tragedy. And I'm talking to a lot of people who have shows. I'm talking to a lot of people in general. People at work, of course, are talking about it. It just doesn't make sense. And, I'm going to be honest with everyone. Again, I've only been hearing what I've been hearing by talking with people and doing a little bit of research here and there. But for the most part, I'm in the dark, just like everyone. And I'm trying to get to the truth. First thing, I really want to talk about is exactly how the media is playing this, the mainstream media. And, right away, they knew, but they put someone on already on, right away. They said who it was, 65-year-old man, white male, blah, 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 cookie cutter almost, except for the age. And, it just seems like it's always the same old person that does this, except for he's a little bit older. He's like a grandpa. He's, he whatever. And yeah, I've been listening to Ryan's show, by the way, because last night he talked about it. For those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, Ryan Gable of the Secret Teachings was talking, and we heard him on KTLK talking about this as well. And yeah, if anyone, man, Ryan's straight up. And by the way, thank you, Cruzin with Steak has joined us in the.
What's up?
Look at that, man! I love that dude. Background. My God, how'd you do that?
That's great.
I painted it.
You painted that?
Yeah.
I like the color you got with the camera.
Yeah, I tried to get this homeboy to make my logo, and it never worked out. I wish I would have done it. Now look at that.
Yeah.
Maybe those book covers.
Man, I'm telling you guys, for those of you listening on the Fringe right now, Mr. James Cruz has joined us in the Hangouts, and we're looking at a live video stream of all of us, except for us, because we have our icons on. But James has got his room going on right now, man. He's got a sick Batman figure in the back of him right now, and man, it's pretty awesome. You guys want to come out to Beyond the Strange YouTube and check this out?
Yeah, get online. Check this out, man. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
it's freaking awesome, man. But thanks.
Yeah,
for
it'll turn into a giant mural eventually. But this is just I have my little spare bedroom down in my basement. Everyone's down in their bunker, right? Of course. So I'm down in mine, and I'm just messing around with it. But I tend to always usually do the shows now, like just live on video. I find it for our show, Cruising with Steak or whatever.
Yeah, Cruising with Steak, please. Yeah.
Like it's a mostly podcast, so, but like, it's cool to just meet and talk with the people, like, straight up. And I think I have a better little, like, rapport with them. But, cause man, we're up to like 15, 16 shows now. We just had a couple of crazy, awesome guests on.
That's great, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, dude. We're having fun. But yeah, man, thanks for the invite, dude. I saw that and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Oops, sorry.
Hey, man, it's YouTube.
That's how I do it. Yeah.
Well, we're on the network too, but this isn't.
That's right.
I'll be better. I won't swear. Sorry.
No, it's cool, dude.
I forgot. See, that's what happens when you get on Google, man. Everything goes out the window. but we are on the Fringe right now, so it's all good. But anyways, man, thanks for joining us. We're gonna try to do this as a roundtable, I guess. But
whatever.
I do want to kick this off, by talking about Stephen Paddock, who was basically a patsy, in my opinion. I mean, he had nothing bad, outstanding that I heard or that I seen or that, anything with the law or anything like that. The guy, what, did he even go to gun shows? I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't even know. But what I was talking about too is the way the media is straight up playing this as a gun control issue. And I even heard, and this wasn't even a paranormal show, this is a regular morning show, that a person was asking a country singer who was there with Jason Aldean on stage if they were going to talk about gun control at their concert. Why the hell would she want to talk about gun control at her concert when her friends and family were just in a tragedy?
Yeah, that makes
sense. This is how cold and callous the media is, man. They just don't give a crap. And I'm outraged. I am totally outraged at how this is being played. Casper, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're jumping all over, and they got the what they call it, butt stock or whatever they call that thing.
Bump stock.
Yeah. And then I'm sitting there in Twitter today, and people are throwing up photographs, and I made the mistake. I was fortunate, is I'm at the point now where I am clicking on links unless I know what it is, because you don't know what kind of website you're going to. You're going to get a virus or whatever. And, they're throwing up images where, okay, you got two windows broken on the floor. And I didn't get a chance to look at the image real close to see if it had been photoshopped or not. There's another guy that had posted a video in 2016 of the same room because he'd rented it and he was there. And get this, he said the room was 1,800 square feet. That's bigger than the house I'm living in.
Yeah, it's
okay,
a big room.
But that is possible. You've got money, those places that might be. I don't know the floor plan for that. Then there's the one thing on social media that's showing a videotape where on the fourth floor you've got, and this is from the Fringe, the Fringe in social media, where it's showing these flashes coming off the fourth floor. And I got thinking about that and going, well, okay, a muzzle will give a white flash, but it also gives an orange flash, and there's no orange flash. And then someone posted in one of the media sites, because you can make comments at ABC News and CBS and so on, and the Post, where he goes, I know the building and the fourth floor that is a banquet hall, and is either a strobe light or the spinning dance balls. Well, sure, that's possible. I don't really know. And the light was going on before the shooting, during the shooting, and after the shooting, then shortly afterwards stopped. So that might not have never been muzzle flashes to begin with. It could have been one of the blinds are slightly pulled up and you're seeing a strobe light, or the spinning of a dance ball from a banquet hall. Who knows? So, but Dave, you're right. I mean, we can't trust mainstream media. Alternative media's become real questionable, if we can trust that or not anymore.
On that point, you're just talking about that fourth floor thing. That is such garbage, in my opinion. Dude, step back and just think for a second. Those floors at the top of the building had 2 blown out windows. If you were gonna fire a gun out of the window, there would be no freaking window. So on the 4th floor, all the windows are there. So that's just unless they're using an invisible bullets, it doesn't make sense.
So the guy had a sledgehammer, and that's what he used to knock out the windows.
Right? Yeah. I mean, those windows are thick. I mean, but in general, unless they replaced a window in 4 minutes or something, it's like, right. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Did you hear what his girlfriend said today?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. That he apparently the last few months he was waking up and lying in bed shaking and whatever and going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And okay, whatever that means. And but the guy he didn't have any kids or anything. Now his father was a bank robber that was on the FBI's most wanted list at one time.
Yep.
How much of that money was recovered from the bank robberies? Who knows? He was a postal worker, so that's good money there, coming in with good health care. But they don't tell us what. Well, he was retired, obviously. And if you went to work for the post office at age 18 or 20, you get 25, 30 years and you retire. So he could have been retired for quite a while already, but they don't tell you which post office he worked at. I haven't seen any of the former co-workers interviewed. They just said he worked at a post office, but that's not, we don't know that's mainstream media saying that. We don't know that for a fact. Probably is a fact, but we don't know that. And, then he has all these investments in apartment buildings and stuff like that. And that's how he made his money, and then gambled and made some money and lost some money. We don't know. Maybe he found his dad's secret stash of hidden bank robbery money. Who knows? Probably.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover on this, man. And that's the thing is we've barely scratched the surface. Right now, I really just want to bring in Jerry Cthulhu. Jerry, thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't get the link to you right away.
No worries at all. I didn't know it was on Twitter, otherwise I would have been here sooner. I was in the chat going, where's the link?
I'm glad you made it. And as soon as I get to Joe, I'll get back to you, Jerry, about your thoughts about this. But Joe, you and I were talking about this earlier, and man, so much stuff needs to be brought out. And one of your theories was that you believe that Paddock had no idea what was going on. And well, you know what? I'll let everyone think. Tell them what you think.
Well, I mean, it's just a theory, but first of all, let me say that, I grew up in the woods shooting pretty much every kind of gun you can imagine my entire life. That weapon, to me, at the rate of fire at first sounded like an M240, and it just, I don't know. But as far as the stock thing goes, you can take out an automatic firing pin and leave it out and make a weapon depending on the gun you got. But here's what I'm saying, though. We're seeing all kinds of stuff in the media. They're not telling us anything. But when you watch 4 or 5 videos, especially of the taxi car driver and the Uber drivers going under the Mandalay Bay foyer area, you can hear a set of like 8 rounds go off that's very close. And then 13 rounds go off 3 seconds later that sounds like it's a football field away, or which could be the 32nd floor. You got 2 shooters. Now, I don't think there's any question, if you actually watched all of the footage and really dug in and researched this, that there was more than one shooter. I don't believe that was a doubt.
There's more than 2.
And Paddock, I mean, this guy's like a nobody, no criminal record. He's got a happy life that we know, right? So all they're showing us, hey, look at this picture with this where we shot out a hole on the 32nd floor or whatever. Well, I got to think as many cops is out there and as much panic was happening. Somebody probably fired some rounds at the hotel. I would. I'm in a gunfight. My adrenaline's pumping. I'm trapped. No matter where I run, there's gunshots everywhere. I don't know where to go. It's fight or flight syndrome at that point. So if you've got a weapon, people are firing back. Surely somebody fired back, right? Nobody's talking about that though. And maybe this guy got clipped. He got hit by accident. Now, what I'm saying is, before you think that's a crazy idea, say somebody got popped in a hotel window, because when this happens, if you're staying at the Mandalay Bay, wouldn't you walk towards the window and go, what the hell's going on? Right? You'd be like, definitely. What is all this? I mean, people are just scattering. What's going on? Bam! A fucking bullet goes through the window and hits you and knocks you out, right? Now the cop's going to come out and say, well, we didn't catch the real people, but we killed this other guy by accident. Do you think that they would want to tell us that at all? Right. Period. And they still aren't giving us anything about nothing about this case. Nothing. As much they're not giving us anything. So all we can go off of is evidence. What's the motive? The videos that we have. We don't have an autopsy report, and all the stories that they're talking about this guy don't add up to me. There's so much stuff that don't add up to me. I'm just saying it's a theory. That's one of many theories to me.
Yeah, there's many theories. Jerry, I'm glad, like I said, you are here tonight. I would really like to hear what you feel has been happening with this. And really quick, I want to mention Dennis Koch is in the chat room, and he brought up yeah, I know, I wish so too. There's the links in Twitter. But you know, there has been a lot of talk about the symbolism that's been happening, especially with the 9 to 11 minutes. That kind of thing that's been happening with this shooting. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, there's there are several numbers that are prominent throughout the whole event, in the reporting, in the headlines, in the number of dead people. So after the shooting, the number 5 becomes real prevalent. All the numbers, if you do numerology on it, like 59 people dead is a 14. It's 1 plus 4 is a 5, right? And the number of wounded was the same thing. And I don't remember all the different points, but 5s came out after the shooting, but before the shooting, it was 9s and 11s and 13s.
Yeah, his room number was 32,351, which equaled 59. His room number on the door.
So crazy.
Right, there's shit like that. Plus, apparently the guy in the picture's got a tattoo of a 13 on his neck.
Right, Dennis brought that up in the chat.
Oh, that was that MS-13 link.
Yeah. Then on top of that, the address of the venue. Oh, and there's 91 too. Is another prominent number in here. The plus the thing they're at was called the Route 91 Harvest Festival. Harvest, kind of funny, not really, but you know what I mean. And
yeah, they had the moon harvest going on. What was that? The blood moon harvest? I think that's going on right now too, right?
I can tell you from occult study myself, because I'm an occultist, and there are dark occultists that are in these networks of higher, what you want to call like Bohemian Grove type things.
Of course.
That believe in human sacrifice. It doesn't matter how you do it. It just matters if it happens, you know?
Yeah.
And they really believe it.
The last thing I'll say about the 91 is that on 10/1, on October 1st, there were 91 days remaining in the year. And the address that the place is at is 3901 Las Vegas Boulevard. The zip code is 89119.
That's crazy.
So,
you know,
like 9/11 all over it is what I'm getting at.
It does seem like that. And Casper, there's also been talks about not only just the symbolism, but that this was done in front of monuments that look like the obelisks, you know, from the building, the architecture, the pyramid, the Sphinx, all the Luxor. Isn't that a pyramid?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, you're right. I didn't think about that. That's all right there in Vegas.
Yeah, it was esoterically, it was a blood sacrifice ritual in front of
esoteric as the blood.
Yeah, it was a blood sacrifice essentially. I mean, if you can look at it that way,
it's possible.
Was it one? I don't know. You know.
Yeah, and we don't even know how much. You know, if there was, the brainwashing society. Oh, that's a whole nother thing. But
this is what Dave was talking about earlier.
Too. No, we don't know if this guy was under some sort of mind control either. No, I mean, we don't really know.
There's 2 alternate stories that have come out. The first one is that he is some kind of government agent, some kind of spook, who was doing a gun deal with a group that went bad. They shot him, and they carried out this thing like revenge.
I'm thinking it was like a small time gun runner type thing, you know, like
Exactly.
yeah, and like it's just a botched gun deal. Like these dudes, yeah,
But that's a rabbit hole we shouldn't go down because there's so many other
yeah,
things. Go ahead.
these bodies are still not even cold yet, dude, which is tough to talk about, you know, like being this just happened, you know, that's the hard part. And
the fact
of
that
course
there were multiple gunshot locations that evening reported at other places that isn't being reported in the mainstream, like the Aria and the Bellagio had gunshots fired there.
Yeah, I know you've been studying a lot of the gunfire ratio and stuff like that. And like Joe was saying, man, I mean, he grew up like, you know, with that, you know, he knows the sounds, he knows how far, you know, sound travels, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, so the second gun sounded like an M240, which is a belt-driven military grade weapon. It usually comes with a tripod. It's not that damn heavy, but you got to take racks of ammunition in there, man. I don't see another thing. This guy, he put 10 weapons in the building with ammunition and a sledgehammer, and nobody saw nothing, right? Nobody knew he was sneaking this stuff in.
They released some footage yesterday or was it footage? No, they found his car and it allegedly had more ammo and guns in it.
Yeah.
Dude,
you know, like
this stinks to high heaven.
It's fishy all over. I agree. Everyone agrees except the mainstream media, and that's kind of the issue here.
That's a huge part of it.
They're not talking about any of this stuff that we're talking about. That's what's enraging me the most is how they're not going to. They're not going to, and they're going to downplay everything that we're bringing up right now. I mean, of course, they're not going to talk about the esoteric stuff, the blood sacrifices or rituals and stuff like that. We know they're not going to talk about that. But, you know, as far as, you know, this guy bringing up all those weapons by himself, he's 65 years old. I know that's not too old, but still, to me, it just, God, there's so much.
Yeah, he fired one round, doubled back to the 32nd floor within 10 seconds and fired off 13 more rounds at 64 years old. Nobody saw him. It was wonderful.
No muzzle flashes.
Doesn't make sense, man.
It doesn't make sense.
Airplanes at the airport.
The reason the mainstream's not going to talk about it is because they're just the propaganda arm of the system that's trying to push in whatever police state they're trying to put in with this event. Because this event's a real defining event.
Yeah, did you see a comment that Dennis made there? Apparently, from the second window, somebody there was a shot that was aimed at a fuel tank. It didn't go off.
Yeah, he was trying to shoot. Yeah, they found bullets in the, you know, it's close to the airport, and they found bullets. Like it's really far away, and they said it was be really hard to actually get it to explode because of the distance. You know, the bullet. I mean, I don't know, but they did find bullets over there, and they got it all cordoned off and shit. And like, I guess it's a double walled tank. You know, it's a big fuel tank. I mean, these are giant. You know, like looks like one at your local water department. I mean, these huge tanks. You know, like,
but that could even ricochet off something over to the tanks. You have no idea where.
There's that video clip that was posted where his brother says that starts saying blah blah blah. It says arms and he stops short. You know
what? What, Casper?
Well, there was one video clip I saw where today I should have made a copy where it was actually through Twitter, so it was just like one of those video things. And the guy either interviewing the brother, which they looked a lot alike, and he's saying some sentence or other, and goes, "My brother this, my brother that," and he said arms, and then he steps back for a second, stops short, and goes off on something else.
Interesting.
He said arms and then stop, and it was like
that is weird. That is weird.
Did you know when he's talking about? His girlfriend's in the Philippines. Yeah, he's back and forth. You've got ISIS running around going. You've got ISIS going crazy in the southern Philippines, Mindoro, Mindanao, down there, in the southern islands.
You know, that's interesting that you bring that up, Casper. And by the way, Joe, I'm glad Joe's on the show right now because he's going to help me out as far as the phones. If anyone wants to call in, Joe, you got that number?
Yeah, it's 501-777-5631. We're going to try it. I think it should work fine.
And Dave,
okay, well,
never mind.
And Jerry, I'll get right to you, man. Hang on one second. I just want to do a quick shout out to me and Deb's cousin, Lupe, who's out there listening right now and who's been in the military. He's a big advocate for, you know, our Second Amendment, of course. He knows his guns, man. And, you know, we were talking a lot today, and you know, everyone I've been talking to today, that you know, it's definitely some sort of machine gun, there's no way that this could be some kind of a you know, an AR-15 or a 14 or whatever you want to call it. I don't know my guns. I just know some things. But, you know, he makes a comment because he's talking to me through Messenger. Hopefully we can get him on through the phone line, talking about how, you know, he said a suppressor will melt on an automatic weapon, just saying. And that shit's made, oh, excuse me. Those things are made out of metal. And so Jerry, do you want to make a comment?
I did, but I forgot what it was. It's all good.
Okay. Joe, one more time. Can you give me that number again?
Yeah, it's 501-777, which needs 777-5631. 501-777-5631. So if you're listening on the Fringe FM, you can call too. It's one line, so if you call in and it's busy, just keep trying.
There you go. So that way we can get you in. He might just call in through there. So look for a Texas number. I don't know what that is, but anyway,
what's the number one more time?
501-777-5631.
31. Yeah, 5631.
Golly, folks.
Yeah, there we
so
go. Somebody's on the phone with us.
Oh, cool.
All right.
That's a trick. You keep repeating until you get a call.
Can you guys hear him?
No.
No.
Well, that sucks. Can you hear him now?
Nope.
Hello.
Check.
Go ahead. You got to talk, man.
Hello. You're live on the show right now?
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
Working.
It's not working. Okay.
We'll cancel the phone, man.
Cancel the phone number. We will try to get you some other way.
Give the dude a hangout link.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, I think Lupe, you do have a Hangouts. Just send me a message in Facebook or something. So guys, I mean, we kind of covered this a little bit in a nutshell, but you know, extensively. What has anyone been noticing more that nobody's really talking about?
You mean overall news in general?
Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts, Casper? I mean, what do you think that they should be concentrating on that nobody's really talking about with this guy?
With this guy here, I really would like to know if he was going back and forth to the Philippines. You know, when was the last time he was there? When was the last time he came back? You know, they said he accumulated these arms or weapons over a period of decades. You know, are there any weapons that because, you know, you're buying weapons for the last, 10, 20 years, for the most part, depending upon where you're at, I guess, what state, you know, there's documented records of all that, is how many guns are unaccounted for of the weapons that he bought. I mean, was he buying weapons and reselling them?
Right.
You know, in which case, or some that are not accounted for, and how many are were in his possession at the up in the room and at his home and other locations
that doesn't matter
where they came from.
This guy's a patsy, dude.
Right.
Patsy,
I think
man.
so. I think it's a patsy with a set up weapons deal. Like,
yeah, he got set up to make a deal that went bad, but they wanted to get rid of him. And had
they knew he was going to be there. Yeah,
they probably sent him to do the deal.
Yeah, kill two birds with one stone.
I remember what I was going to say before.
Oh,
yeah, doesn't he have a fishy kind of life? You know, like, wait, I'm a professional gambler. Wait, no, what? No, you're not a professional. You're something else.
Nobody.
But
said
your
that
dad was a major
news.
bank robber too.
The sheriff said that he had, or maybe the FBI. Like, I know they did a press conference,
it's
and they said that
because it's disinformation.
That's true too. If it's coming from the FBI, you're like, oh fuck.
Well, it came from a lot of places. What I was going to say was if you remember, right after the event, there was claims that ISIS claimed responsibility, which they've also reclaimed again, by the way. I don't know if it's been dismissed yet. Secondly, there was allegedly Antifa documentation or literature in his room.
What kind of literature?
Antifa.
Yeah.
Is my mic too low? I'm sorry.
No, we heard.
Well, you should define what Antifa means.
Oh, Antifa is a group. It's a European group that stands for anti-fascist or anti-fascism. Antifa, F-A, the first two letters of fascism.
Yeah, Antifa.
They're the black dressed
Masked
guys
warriors.
with masks who beat up all those
Black
people
bloc.
in Berkeley and shit. They
Black
were,
bloc. Yeah, I heard what you're saying about the Antifa literature in there, and to me, just based on just based on what we know, what they're saying.
it was
The
planted.
guy had a lot of money made from real estate.
Yeah.
He was a big gun advocate.
He was some kind of IRS auditor too.
Right.
Yeah.
Antifa or whatever, black bloc, excuse me. Those tend to be more liberal or more like democratic kind of people versus.
See, that's what I was gonna mention.
So to me, the Antifa thing doesn't make much sense to me because, this guy having as much money as what he allegedly did, and with tax rates and everything else, and be able to write things off, he would be more prone to be Republican than he would Democrat, just based on
Right, but
Based on his lifestyle, yeah.
none of that matters though, because here's the
Hey,
thing: whatever happens,
Go ahead.
whatever goes down, yeah, what?
No, I was gonna say we should have Lupe with us right now. Lupe, are you there?
Whatever
Yeah, I'm
happens,
here, I'm here.
whatever goes down, it doesn't matter now because it already happened, and not a lot of people are going to go back and look at it and try and figure it out or pull the threads that don't fit. It's there now, so we really have to keep track of what's going to happen because of this. That's far more important than trying to figure out if he's a Republican or Democrat or had a tattoo here or there. Those are rabbit holes.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen to that.
Dave
Hey
and I
guys,
talked about
I just want to bring in my cousin Lupe. Can you guys hear him? Okay, Lupe, are you there?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hola, Lupe.
Hey man,
All right. Hey guys.
thanks brother. Thanks for
Go
being
ahead,
on. Thanks for being on. I appreciate
Is
it.
he
Yeah.
the gun specialist?
He is.
All right, so I'm saying this thing sounded like an M240. What did it sound like?
This
to
is
you?
Joe Rupe, by the way. This is my buddy Joe.
I'm giving you my
Hey
redneck
Joe, how you
version.
doing? I understand what you're saying about an M240, man, and it's pretty close, but it is a 30 caliber 7.62, which is what you're hearing because of that hard
Yeah.
echo. 5.56 wouldn't push out that hard, so it'll be a much lighter noise, So I'm pretty sure that's a 7.62 that he's firing right there, and I'm thinking it's a SKS, because even though the range is terrible on it, firing from 32nd floor into 500 yards away, it's possible.
Well, which one of them has
you're
the
just
pin?
spraying,
You can
spraying
just
the
pull
people.
out the automatic firing pin on it, and you just leave it out. The SKS, you can do that.
And you
right?
you have to do some work to it. It's you can but I think it's you can also have triggers that are very close to semi-automatic. I mean, fully auto. I've recently purchased a Fostic Echo 2 trigger, which when you put it on the second mode, you pull the trigger, it fires. When you release it, fires. And
I
in
got
quick
you.
successions, it seems like you're firing a full auto rifle. Same thing with the bump stock. You can make it if you play with it a while. You can make it sound. You can make it go for almost full auto. It
And
takes a
you're
little
saying
work,
that-
little practice, a lot of ammo to do it.
And you heard both, the succession of both rounds, the first one and the one that seemed like it was coming from further away, right? Or do you think it was just one weapon?
We'll see. It could be just one weapon, but he had two different firing positions. I think one of them was his primary fire position where the crowd was at, and when the crowd was moving away where he couldn't see him, that's why he had that secondary fire position, and it's going to sound different. The echo is, when you fire, it's going to sound totally different when you're down, down on the ground. It's going to make it sound like it's farther away or closer, and it'll do that.
That makes sense.
I don't know, man. It sounded really far away, and it was like one round. I mean, if you watch the taxi cab video, 8 rounds go off.
Yeah.
5 seconds later, 13 rounds go off, and it sounds like it's a football field away. In 5
Yeah,
seconds, he moved to the.
The only thing
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean those
Like I
the
said,
guns
I've
got.
only seen the first video.
Go ahead,
I've
man.
only seen the first video, where that country singer was singing and he ran off stage. That's the only one I've seen. I really haven't been, paying attention
okay.
too much to it because it's kind of terrible. It's not something I like to see. And I guess
Right. Yeah.
it's kind of hard. But I do a lot of shooting. I probably put down about 1,000 rounds a week.
Ooh.
And I fire a lot of different, armaments. Like I said, I got rifles that are suppressed, and pistols and stuff like that. I fire all different calibers, and like I said, if he was, I heard that he had tannerite. Okay, yeah, I know what tannerite is, right?
Oh yeah, you shoot it, blows up.
Okay, that all. Yeah, it takes a supersonic round to make it go off. Like a 5.56. A 7.62 is not going to set it off.
Like 7 mag or something.
You
can throw it.
You need a pilot, like a trigger next to it, right? Like a trigger, like to spark it. Like
no,
something
the impact will set it off.
Well, no, it's not. It's not a spark. It's pressure. It's pressure. From the speed of the round hitting the supersonic round is what sets it off. You can throw it and kick it, and it ain't gonna do nothing, man. It takes a supersonic round. So at a distance, say what did it say? It was 500 yards away.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
A guy, if he's gonna set it off, he's gonna have to shoot it with a 5.56. Even with the scope, you got to be highly trained, man. You just learn something that it takes time to shoot at that range. Because a suitcase will be a small target, just a little speck at that range.
Lupe, I want to
know what you're doing.
Lupe, I wanted to bring up what we were talking about earlier about how the training, how he could have done this, because I personally don't believe he did this by himself. If he did do it at all,
he did have somebody had to help him. He did. That's true. But I'm thinking, if he's sending money to the Philippines, I think he spent down there and trained in the Philippines. They got a terrorist group down there. I can't remember the name of them. And I think that's where that money was going to. That's my personal feeling.
There you go.
Well, the Mandalay Bay.
You go to the Philippines, you get
all of you guys
there.
have been to Las Vegas, right? You've all seen the Mandalay Bay, and where that taxi cab car was sitting
in there.
Yeah, he would have to, in order for him to change firing positions, he would have to go to the edge of the building for it to sound different, because it's all flat and it goes right out, right over the front, right? So, I mean, it sounds like two people are shooting. If you watch, Lupe, I promise you, buddy, because I'm a kind of a gun nut too. If you watch some more of these videos, especially with the Uber and cab driver, you're going to be like, wait a minute, man, something's not right about it. It's just not right.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I do a lot of we film a lot of our shooting. We having fun, testing out different rounds or weapons, and so I can show you where just a few feet away, the difference of the sound of a rifle being shot. How it sounds totally different just a few feet away, man. And it's weird. I mean, but it's possible that he could have done it by himself, but. Like I said, somebody helped him.
Dude, play it for you. If I can find it, I'll play it for you here in a minute, and then you tell me that's
that would be awesome. So that would be awesome. Real quick, I want to go to Casper really fast. And in the chat room, I noticed that Casper had brought up breaking news. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on that, Casper?
Well, okay. Apparently, they're talking about this huge tax package they're trying to push through, and the Democrats are really opposed to. It's like a huge, massive tax breaks for the rich and the corporations, like dropping stuff down to 20%. Making 3 tax brackets and everything else. Just a few minutes ago, apparently, is posted on the Hill that the Congress passed legislation in such a way that when it goes to the Senate, the Democrats are not going to be able to filibuster it to try and stop it and make any changes. And the GOP-controlled Congress, Republican-controlled Congress, and Senate now, because they control the Senate, are going to be able to pass that tax legislation, get it off to Trump and sign it. And these corporations and their wealthy are going to get these huge tax breaks, while the middle class, working class are getting caught in a shell game. In the end, any tax breaks you get are going to be minimal.
Do you actually
they just passed that tonight in Congress.
Kansas City Shuffle, baby.
Tonight. And while everybody's looking at all this shooting right now, bam, they ran that through Congress, and they got it in such a way that the Senate is going to be able to avoid the filibuster that Democrats would do, and they're going to get it through unless enough Republicans defect on voting in the Senate. It's going to go through. Trump will sign it. And every time we've done tax breaks for the wealthy, the economy takes a dive in a couple of years. So historically, but it's like, because you don't have any money to invest in infrastructure.
But
I know what Jerry's about to say.
I don't think the shooting distracted from that. Nobody cares. Nobody pays attention to that.
They should. But you're right.
They should be, but I think it is a distraction.
If it didn't happen, it still would have done the same thing. It still would have passed. I think there's other things that are being distracted from, not that.
Yeah. Well, here's something we said earlier, and Dave and I talked about this 2 or 3 years ago. Is when let's go back to the Oklahoma City, with Terry McVeigh. Okay.
Yeah.
Timothy McVeigh, whatever. All right. So, okay. There was some legislation that was pending in Washington that they couldn't get passed. Okay. After Oklahoma City, it got really close to being passed with enough votes within a matter of days. Shortly after Oklahoma City, we had that missile or whatever it was launched over the harbor by New York and then blew up. Right immediately after that, they got some gun legislation passed that it wouldn't have otherwise. So if you don't want 800, right? You don't want if you want society to go from point A to point B, but they don't want to go. Either i.e. you allow a problem to get out of hand, and or you create a problem, and point B is the solution, and it's society willingly. So, and we might be looking at a similar scenario.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there could have multiple prongs to it. It could be a multiple prong pitchfork.
Not only that, if it was some kind of botched, let's say it was a botched side job for the FBI, whatever, something like that. Think of all the politicians who thought, "Oh, I can jump on this and use this for my agenda." There's layers upon layers upon layers of people jumping on this bandwagon.
Oh yeah, that's true. And you can't, so now we have some legislation is going to get passed. Who knows how much freedoms we're going to lose. We're already living in a surveillance state, period. I mean, that's to say, we're going to have the surveillance
it's covert. It's going to become overt.
Yeah. It's going to become overt now. And you're absolutely correct. When you say that, and it is. So, but the end result of this, whether it was planned or unplanned or a combination of things, is that now society, especially in the Americas here, United States, they're going to willingly move towards something that they normally would have put up a fuss over, whether it's, more open surveillance, more gun control, things of that sort. So I don't trust the Republicans. I don't trust the Democrats, period.
I just want to add one thing to what you said.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jerry.
Real quick. Las Vegas, Nevada, if you've ever been there, is one of the most surveilled cities in the world. There are cameras everywhere.
Yeah, where was that Merriweather fight? Was that in Vegas?
MGM Grand.
Yep. Yes.
That was Vegas. Yeah. They remember they had that African American football player who said the cops put a gun to his head and threatened him and so on and so forth. And I was reading a news article today because the cop, apparently his body camera wasn't engaged, but the police around him had their body camera engaged, and they made a statement that whole arrest thing around that, they had to sort through just a little over 800 video clips that were being recorded at that area, that small little area. Yep. So when you say everything is being surveilled in Vegas, you're I just saw that in the news today. That little section right there coming out where the thing started, they ended up out in the street, in the parking lot, wherever. They had the next video recordings to sort through.
And the next lot over is the freaking airport. So, there's no cameras pointing at the airport. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Where is all this video? Where is the evidence that the media is putting out? And it's nowhere because it's a lie.
Yeah, they're not going to give it to us, man. We're never going to get
Zero Hedge. It's a really good article. There's 16 outstanding questions that this guy poses that are all very good and have been unanswered.
You know what? I'm gonna go to James really quick, and then after James, I'm gonna go to Lupe real fast. So, James,
we got a break in a minute.
We're not gonna break right away. Probably in about 10 minutes, but
dude.
Yeah, go ahead, man. This is no worries. But James, whatever you guys gotta do, get up and drink some water. That's a good point that Casper was talking about. I have been talking to someone who has done a lot of other research with the cameras that I guess they're public access. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can actually go to a website, sign in, and you can see what a street light is doing at a crossing, and you know, Ohio, New York, California, because they have access to that camera.
Dave, your audio is going nuts, bro.
Yeah, you're glitching.
Okay, cool. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I thought it was. I'm like, not my computer again. Oh, they call me technical difficulties, man. So it's like usually my fault. Oh, let's go to a break and see if you can fix it.
Oh, that sounded really bizarre.
Mark, told my really bad joke.
If you hang up, is this your hangout or Joe's?
Yeah, no, this is my hangouts. But anyways, how's this sound right now? Is it all getting better?
It sounds like your
mic's
phone's
cutting
jack
out.
is not straight.
Yeah, it does sound like a bad phone jack. Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, maybe we should just go to a break real quick. Lupe, thanks for hanging out, man. I'm sorry. Everything sounds like it's glitching. So we're going to definitely have you back on Beyond the Stream so we can talk more cryptids.
Yeah, I got to go, guys, because I got to get some rest. You know, it's already after 10 here where I'm at, and I got 12 hours work tomorrow, man.
Thanks, brother.
I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go shooting or something. the way you sounded, you fired up. Yeah.
Dave, you want
Thanks,
me to
man.
play the commercials? I don't know if.
Yeah, if you got a KTLK commercial, that'd be great.
Okay, well, let's do it.
All right, this is Beyond the Stream Hangouts. We're about to go to a break. Bear with us. We are still getting strange on Sundays. Hey everyone, it's me, Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange Radio, letting you know we're
off the network
live Sunday nights right here on the Fringe FM.
If he closes it and turns it off, it'll kill this
live.
whole stream, though, right?
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah,
on the
see,
commercials.
Are you sure? Are you sure it will? Are you who? How are you pumping into his broadcast?
Who?
You, Joe.
I'm doing it through Hangouts, but I use a audio mixer that allows me to do all this stuff on the back end.
So it just comes out like your mic.
Voice meter, right?
Exactly. That's it, baby.
Yeah, voice meter.
I can't do that.
Voice meter banana.
Banana.
It's the bomb beat.
We're still live.
Oh yeah.
Our voices are going.
Yeah, we're still live.
We're still live on
are.
YouTube, but we're not on the
Don't
network.
listen. We're goofing around. Don't listen.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Dave,
It still
Dave,
sounds like crap.
You need to
do your
exit the
task
Hangout
manager
and come
again,
back
like you
in.
did last time. Task manager.
Yeah.
Something opened up that's not supposed to.
Be right back.
Dennis, we can't be closed mic unless we shush. Or we're talking over the music, which I don't know how that would be going out if we're still talking.
Well, I can make you hear the music if you want.
As of conversational excellence that you
But I don't think anyone else is hearing it either.
The network is hearing it, not YouTube.
You're pushing audio out on this channel? How?
No, the people on YouTube are hearing it.
How?
People on YouTube aren't hearing it. They're hearing us
Oh,
talk.
they're hearing us talk. And thank you guys for hanging out there, YouTubers. I really appreciate it.
You really want to know how I do all this, Casper? I'll show you sometime.
No. I didn't realize you were pushing out to another stream. That's all.
Yeah, we're pushing out to the Fringe.
I got you. I don't know what that is.
That's
Fringe.
So
I was hearing this.
Okay, the Fringe FM.
Check this out. I just ran some numbers on. So there's this article on Zero Hedge that says President Trump warns ominously, it's the calm before the storm.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, what was that?
It's a number generator.
It's a gematria calculator that I wrote. So
okay. Yeah.
I put that phrase into here and it comes out to 9 for the most part. 9, 3.
Now, what's this? Trump warns about something anonymous is about to happen? Not anonymous.
Anonymous has been warned that there's going to be shit happening. But just Trump
every day.
You guys, he said, this was his quote. You guys know what this represents? Maybe it's the calm before the storm. It could be the calm before the storm. It's hilarious. Why the hell would he say that? It's like, I don't know. Maybe things are going to go to hell.
That dude, oh my god.
That's weird.
I think next Friday, by the way, is Friday the 13th in October, nonetheless, which is also the anniversary of the Templars all getting killed.
Oh, that's right. I have a doctor's appointment that day. So,
Dave, how you sounding right now?
I don't know. How am I sounding?
Still choppy. You need to kill something.
Yeah. I can't kill anything, unfortunately. Let me see. I'll try to do this.
This just goes back to my thing that there's a lot of nines numerologically. Nines.
All right, how about this?
11s.
Keep talking.
Yo, this is Dave Cruz. Hey, everyone.
Still sounds like a bad connection.
Jesus.
It's not lagging, but it sounds like a bad line or something.
or bad cable.
All right, how about now? Worse.
Now it's lagging
Good?
with
Better?
bad cable.
Is it a USB cord into the computer?
No, it's none of that.
Okay, like cause mine was doing that, and I like the connection on the USB part was all messed up, and I just had to switch the port, and then it like corrected itself. I don't
This was a good
My
idea.
computer is. I'm surprised it works as good.
Oh man. Well, you know what, Joe,
What?
you want to go ahead and just start a new Hangouts and invite us all?
I can. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Okay, why don't you do that? Everyone, is it going to get your light in the void?
Dave, have you tried just hanging up and see what would happen?
I can't. If I do that,
Yeah, but you can restart it. It doesn't. The whole event doesn't end, is what I'm saying. You can drop out and come back in within like.
Yeah,
2
you can
minutes.
click, make it go unlive, and then yeah.
I'll try that.
And we could stay in here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
That makes sense, because the group would still be open. Yeah, you could drop out.
Yeah,
and come
you
back.
could drop out and come back in. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because if your network goes down, they can't stop the broadcast. I mean,
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fraudulent news, did you guys hear the one about? I wrote this today, so it's you know how people when they're fracking in areas that they can take a lighter and put it to their tap water and it lights fire.
No way. That's crazy. That's like an
Yeah.
onion story or something, right?
Well, no, that's actually true. This is actually true.
Whoa,
Okay,
dude.
we're in some areas like in the Dakotas and that where they're fracking, the wells are contaminated so bad that they can take. This is actually true. This isn't fake. They can take a lighter and put it to the water in their tap, and the water lights on fire. That is true.
Oh,
That's true.
Oh, you guys hadn't seen that? Where they?
Yeah,
I've never
I
seen
wonder if
that
it was
yet.
on a car.
yeah. Well, I took that and wrote an entire bad joke off that. It's about a 3-minute joke. It's really bad.
Testing.
That sounds better. Keep talking.
What's going on, everyone?
It's good.
There's still a little flicker, but it's the best it
You're too
sounded.
close to the mic. He's clipping. Is what it is. He's clipping on his noise gate or. Give us.
Oh, it might be the gate. It might be the gate. I don't want to mess with it though too much. But anyways, thanks everyone for hanging out and listening.
Come back away from the mic.
All right, how about this, guys?
Much better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one, thank you for hanging on out there, and if you're listening on the Fringe, I
Hold on a
appreciate
second.
guys,
You got to let me
listening.
know we're about to go back before I go back on the network. All right.
Oh,
Here we
okay.
go.
Live shows suck, don't they?
All right, here we go.
You
We're
guys
back.
are Fringe hurt.
Only
So we're-
only when
we're
you
working-
have
the guys
technical
who can hurt
difficulties.
us is
listening on
Dude.
the Fringe FM. We're all talking over each other, but that's how a hangout works. So we're back.
That's how
Dave's
Hangouts
back.
work. Thanks,
And
everyone.
I'm
Thanks for
fade the
hanging on.
audio down. There we go.
All righty.
You got to get it on Zoom.
Yeah,
We did
something.
the Zoom- Yeah.
Discord.
Discord.
Nah, Zoom, dude. We got a Zoom channel, and
Zoom rules.
Zoom is beautiful, man.
But you have to run OBS to put a stream out, which
Yeah,
Hey, we were just talking about that.
I got
Yeah.
OBS. It's easy.
it's pretty easy to run. Yeah.
is super easy.
Anyhow.
So basically, while we were talking about like my bad joke with the fire water and all that, I didn't. tell
Yes.
them. They're hearing us all on YouTube Live, I guess.
Yep.
We didn't say anything bad.
Talking about that during the break, they heard us talking about that.
Only on
Yeah, I
YouTube.
think
They
that
heard
it
us.
is. We
Yeah,
on
had
YouTube,
open
they
mic.
heard
Yeah, right. Just,
Yeah, everything.
we had that discussion that everyone could hear us right before you told that story.
Yeah, well, I didn't even finish the whole joke, but that's okay. That takes like 5 minutes to tell a joke. I wrote it.
Oh,
And I don't know that really now's the time for that.
Some fire water.
It's one of those
Casper, if you wrote a joke about fracking, I want to hear it.
you sure
It's
this,
not politically
this is
correct,
this is
apparently.
it's off topic, man. And it's
Hope
really
it's
off
not.
topic.
All right.
It's totally off topic. Okay. You really want me to go for it?
Why not?
This is a work in progress. It's part of my fraudulent news stuff that I do. All right. So just setting the stage at the fracking and the water lights on fire, right? So these guys are all drinking at their buddy's house. And, they're talking about, you ever go to those bars? You don't go to a bar for a year or two, you go back and suddenly the bar's not, it's like a gay bar or something changes. So they're all talking about that. And,
Like on Family Guy.
yeah, right. And any rate, and they're just saying, the guys were fracking, and the guy goes, well, my water doesn't light on fire. And they go, you ever checked it? Goes, no. So the drunk guys, they all go in the kitchen. The guy turns the tap water on and puts the lighter to it. And sure enough, his tap water lights on fire. He turns it off, and, then he goes, well, I got to go hit the head. So he goes in the bathroom, and, how you're drinking, you guys can take those 5-minute pisses. And he's standing there peeing and just going, damn. So he's drunk, not thinking, takes the lighter and lights it onto the stream of his urine, which, of course, he was drinking that tap water for years. Well, so his pee stream lights on fire. Well, of course, the toilet bowl is full of water from the well, which is contaminated. So that lights on fire. The guy's running out of the bathroom screaming. Next thing you know, the water tank in the back of the toilet kind of explodes, blows out the back of the bathroom. Everybody kind of gets out, they cut the water off to the house at the pump, but the house is gone. And everything's just totally destroyed. Their friend gets to the hospital, and he ended up barbecuing his wiener, second, third, fourth degree burns.
Wow.
I'm getting.
And well, that's not the worst. Where's this going? I don't know if I should keep going or not.
I can't wait for the punchline.
A superpower, it would be to piss fire.
It's a piss fire. So, but because his urine was on fire, it backed up into the urethra of his tool, and so he got second, third, fourth degree burns
In his bladder.
And so now, and earlier they've been talking about the gay bar, and we're talking about this really good-looking woman they all wanted, and she's gay, no one's going to get her, and they're running bets of who's going to get her in bed first, which ain't going to happen because she's gay. So he's in the hospital, and 4 months later he goes back, and the doctor says, well, the damage is so severe, you're having a problem urinating. We're gonna do a sex change, and we'll turn you into a woman. At least it'll be functional. And the guy's like, dude, I'm straight. What am I, blah blah blah. And the guy goes, well, instead of being a guy, you'll be a lesbian.
Oh, is Bruce Jenner?
Yeah. So then the guy gets everything down so he can at least urinate properly, and ends up winning the bet with his buddies because he gets in bed with the lesbian or the gay woman that nobody thought they could sleep with. It's a joke in progress, so it probably didn't go over very good.
Yeah, no punchline, but I'll give you this.
Nice.
It's a work in progress, and I was just like, it's something that hit me this morning, and then I took a shower when I got home from the nursing home, taking care of my mom and making sure she's all set for the night. And I was taking a shower, and then the end part about the whole lesbian bar thing came into play. I was taking a shower, and it's like something like this usually takes me 3 or 4 days to work out, in my head, so it gets real situated, and then I have to type it out like a news story. But
and you got to be politically correct too. Remember that, or you'll get,
and that
Casper.
That definitely was not politically correct.
Political correctness is mind control, people.
Yeah,
sir.
Yeah, that was not politically correct. But it's the kind of story that drunk guys tell each other. But it's still kind of.
What was that?
That's why we're here, man. We're hanging out. We're telling jokes. We're talking crazy stuff, man. This is where it's at.
Yeah.
So Lupe left, right? I wanted him to play this clip. Yeah. Dang it.
That's all right. You can play it. I mean, I think he's still listening. So go ahead.
The gunshot.
Let me see if I can get it going here.
Go.
It seems like it's coming
Can y'all
from
hear
up
that?
there.
Yeah.
The taxi driver. Yeah.
Seems like it's
Floor. Please share this video.
Do you have the whole video?
Like it's coming from up there. Oh shit!
That's very far into the video.
Yeah, but he goes back
If
around.
you go back to the very beginning of it, there's a 8-round burst.
All right, I'm out
Yeah, I can't find it. That's the wrong one.
here. Oh shit!
Yeah, the one that's not the right one. You're right. The one where he's right underneath it is.
Yeah, it's right at 4
sounds
seconds.
like somebody's firing sitting next to him, but they skipped that part. Isn't it funny they skipped that part on this video?
I'll put it somewhere and send you a link. I have it.
Yeah, Jerry's been saving them all, man, because you know they're gonna start taking these things down and changing them. And
Oh
shit.
yeah, YouTube's been doing that like crazy, man. Anybody that's that's fake news. Now, how is that fake news? It's a raw
if
video.
anyone needs to save videos, save them on DTube. It's it's a blockchain
Did you say
based
DTube?
DTube, yeah.
Underground video server, apparently. That's cool.
No, it's not underground at all. It's just a blockchain based file server, video server.
Jerry still in here?
Yeah,
he's talking to you.
Okay.
Did something go weird? Like your sound, like my sound? I don't know. Maybe it's my ears. I don't know.
No, you sound good.
I
know.
got a
just
question
yeah. Go ahead.
for you guys. Okay, so on top of the Equifax data breach, now Yahoo admits that everybody's data was breached a couple years ago. Then 1,400 NFL football players had their data breached last week.
Oof.
And
my insurance did too. My Anthem insurance, we got a big email about it. The whole thing, MetLife, everybody's stuff got breached.
Yeah. I'm like looking at all this, and then and the thing is, when I go in to look to freeze my credit reports, and you almost got to be a lawyer because you got to you agree to privacy terms and conditions, and in those terms and conditions, a lot of those companies, well, you waive your right to a lawsuit. You're going to go to arbitration, and you also waive your right to a class action lawsuit. And I'm like thinking, okay, so let's say I go into one away from Equifax, I go into one of the other two biggies, freeze my credit report. They get a data breach, and when I freeze my credit report, I agree to terms and conditions, which means I agree to no class action lawsuits, and I agree to arbitration. And it's like, it's like, whoa, holy crap. I mean, it's like these people are holding us hostage. I feel like it feels like extortion. You got to pay them $10 or $15, I think it's $10 to freeze your credit report, another 10 to unfreeze it. I feel like they're holding us hostage. It's like extortion. It's craziness.
You've also agreed to a bail-in, negative interest rates, if you read it very carefully.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, so I'm like sitting there going, and now you got, and you can go to the website and look it up, people. The number 32market.com.
That was that dude's floor
That's
number.
the 3 Square Market. That's a company that microchipped its employees August 1st. They had a chip and salsa party when they did it. That's what they called it. Over half the employees were microchipped. And now Wisconsin is one of the few states that has a law in place that you can't force employees to be RFID chipped. It doesn't say anything about future hires. It's current employees. They did the same thing when they did the direct deposit stuff back in the 90s. But any rate is, I don't think it's a conspiracy, but you're saying MetLife had their data breached.
Yep.
And if you go to number 32market.com, one of the things they have on there is they guarantee 100% certifiable. They actually have to go read it. I put it in my Twitter feed, so I don't want to make sure I'm quoting it correctly, but they guarantee 100% identification secure, something of that sort. And so I'm kind of like sitting there going, is this all going to be a move to get everybody to, stick their old hand out and get microchipped or an electronic tattoo or something we haven't seen yet? To me, it's just, and now of course, you got with what happened in Vegas, but it's just one thing on top of another. It's like Dave said earlier, it's one thing on top of another on top of another. what they have there is they have encrypted data and 100% certification identification. That's what 3 Square Market has. I'm reading it right now. So, but we have all these data breaches, and everybody's like, my identity's being stolen and blah, blah, blah. And now we got this RFID chip, and it's 100% certain identification. We're not talking about something in the near future. We're talking about today. This stuff is now real. It's, what was science fiction has become science reality. And what people like me and Dave and all you other guys, Joe and everyone else in here have been telling everybody for years is coming. Here it is. And, we got these huge data breaches. And it's like you said, it's not just Equifax. Now you got MetLife, NFL, 1,400 players, Yahoo, you got all this stuff.
Verizon too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now there's so many data breaches, you can't keep track of them. I think you're right on Verizon. I forgot all about that. And because there's so much stuff going on, you can't keep track of it. And you wait. We might not see it this year or next year, but you watch that, when people's identities start being stolen left and right, and how do you know these data breaches weren't set up to happen?
Yeah, that's kind of true. I remember like back in the day, I never even had like MySpace and then when Facebook started, I got a Facebook. I had it for I'd say 3 months, and it just felt really weird. And it was like, why am I willingly putting my shit on the internet?
Right? Yeah.
Your whole life. It really tripped me out back then. And I immediately, like I said, I had it for a couple months. And I immediately just ejected. You have to go through hoops to get fully ejected from it. But yeah, so I've never went back to it. And then, and it's like a slow drip in reverse. It's a slow drip of those thoughts you had, or that I had, that we all had, that was going to happen is everything on the net, it's all accessible. There's no security, dude. It's all coming true, just like Casper was saying, dude. It's right before your eyes.
Yeah, Joe might be able to verify that.
You're going to be drinking
really quick, let's get back to this shooting, because I do want to hear the clip that Joe had found. Joe, you got the right clip?
Yeah, I got it. Let's see.
Let's go ahead and hear that.
Next time we do this, though, we need to get Ryan Gable in here. Hold on just one second.
I know, man.
Let's see.
That's an echo, right? Yeah.
Not an echo.
That second one wasn't. Is that what we were just?
That's the first one. Hold on. Let me play the first one again.
So the first one, it's 8 shots.
You hear it? That was an echo, but listen to the second one.
It's not an echo.
Hold on. No, it's not an echo because it only popped 4 times.
No, it pops 8 times.
Oh yeah, that was weird right there.
I analyzed all this the other night. The first 8 shots go off, and there's a 1.9 second delay, and then you hear 8 or 9 more shots. It's kind of hard because there's foreground noise. You can't isolate the background. The very deep thumps, thump, thump, thump.
Yeah, it sounds like automatic gunfire.
It could be a heavy caliber weapon, or it could be the echoes of the first shots on the canyons, echoing in the canyons behind Vegas. Because that's all, if you look at a map there, that's all open space from where he was shooting. And the hotel acts as kind of a satellite dish, so it's going to intensify the sound even as it's going out.
Like it's coming from.
Yeah, that second one was way far away, though, man.
Now it sounds like it's coming.
Hold on, this one right here, if you can barely hear it.
Now it sounds like it's coming from.
Back a little bit more. Did you hear it?
I did. I can explain that too, actually. If you look at the way the windows were blocked out, there was one window that was at a 45-degree angle from the front of the hotel. If someone was shooting out that window, it wouldn't sound as loud as it would be if the person was right above you shooting.
Yeah, there's a far cry difference between.
I don't know. I'm just saying
that.
When he starts letting loose and he's holding that, when he's doing the full auto for like 5 or 10 seconds, that's really close. That's really close.
And I mean, this is just one video. You really got to go look at all of them. And I'm not entirely convinced that the flash, you're saying it was white. It looked orange to me. in some of the videos, you know. But I
I've
mean,
barely
that
seen.
color is
I've barely seen a flash. I could barely see them. Yeah, I don't really even realize.
the colors are kind of close, but that's the evidence that we have. That's
Trying
all
to
we
look at this
have.
video for evidence, though, is faulty because we don't know what her position was during the. And she moved, yada yada yada. The more important thing is we should go look at the scanners and the police scanners and try and find all those and listen for all the reports of shootings.
And they did say on their scanners on Broadcastify that they thought there was a second shooter. They were talking about it.
But do you guys think that some of that stuff could be a plant? You know, like some of that stuff might be false.
Maybe, but it should still be looked at. And there's people on Twitter who are saying that they work at the Aria and there were shots fired there. There's reports of Bellagio having shots. There was another casino like the Star. I forget the name of it. Not Stardust.
There's another video I haven't seen. I haven't watched it yet, but someone was on the roof and was videoing down over the top of Mandalay, and I hadn't got to watch that one yet.
Yeah, so I mean, I think really we shouldn't really focus on the details because we're never going to figure them out.
There's never going to happen. Yeah,
and we're going to miss the people running behind us with the ball. To use a
if there were multiple shooters, do you guys think that there's a chance that whoever did this actually got away?
Yeah,
absolutely. I do. There's a report of a man in a security guard suit running away from security personnel at the Mandalay Bay.
I told you, Dave, I don't think they got him, man. I think they pinned it on this dude. I'm not saying this dude wasn't part of it, but I mean, come on, man. You go back and look at the stuff, and you go back and you go look at all of Jesse Ventura's work when he talks about operations where he was involved in cover-ups, and he's like, this is stuff that they do on a constant basis.
Well, okay, as far as getting away, I don't think they got away. I think they're covering it up so that they could get away. But there's too many of us right now that is analyzing everything. We're looking into this. We're not letting it go. Hopefully nobody's going to sweep this under the rug. I really believe that this should keep going, and not to disrespect anybody's family members who died or anything like that. No, but it should be continued. They need to get to the answers to what really happened, because I don't believe that Stephen Paddock did this by himself, or if he even did it at all. I think what happened is that Stephen Paddock was already dead before any of this happened.
No doubt.
That's what I think.
That's what I'm thinking too.
And why exactly do they have to escape?
Every time.
It was blend in, and that's it.
But no, you're assuming they weren't part of the staff already.
Right. I'm not assuming that. I'm just saying, I asked the question. Do you think?
I think they just went back to their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, these people that do this kind of stuff are, because you got to imagine how good they are at it. I planned this was
pretty sloppy, actually. But if they went back to their jobs, then the hotel lockdown. Everyone out lockdown for 24 hours.
Did you see how everybody was standing around when that taxi driver pulled in? Like, people are just standing there like it was eating their ice cream, smoking a cigarette. Hey, those are gunshots above us. It took everybody
there's fireworks there all the time.
Way forever before they took off. Yeah,
hey,
I've been around fireworks and gunfire my whole life, dude. And I can tell you right now, if I was standing at the Mandalay Bay and I heard that, maybe everybody else might not run, but I'm smart enough to know that's not fireworks.
Yeah,
but I do shoot. I shoot weapons quite a bit.
Yeah, look at all the country music singers that are stepping away from the NRA right now.
You saw Jason Aldean take off running as soon as it happened. He knows what gunfire sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I want to watch is over the next few months, that we are able to catch, because there's so much news going on, you can't keep track of it. Is what legislation, like I said earlier, gets passed, whether it's gun legislation or more open surveillance. I'm just waiting to see what legislation comes out of this, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be something. And then they're all going to look, well, see, we're fixing this. And,
you think on a state level or a federal level?
Probably federal. maybe some state stuff, but probably federal.
I think it'll be like a separate company, like the airport security, like the TSA, but it'll be
a specific company that's involved.
Yeah,
this is what Joseph P. Farrell was talking about today, that it's tied. There's all these ties back to like Adelson and Chertoff, the guy who was in charge of FEMA, and Adelson who funded, I think, Romney's campaign. And they own a company that makes the backscatter scanners for TSA. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. That's going to be life, SOP.
Man, that's so sick. If that's true, man, that's making me sick thinking about it.
Well, think about this. This is what I was thinking about, actually. How badly will that hurt the illegal activities that go on in Vegas and are ignored, like the escort services or the drug dealing that's delivered to your hotel room, that just gets overlooked because it's harmless for the most part, and the staff makes money letting these people in, and you know what I'm saying?
I was going to mention that, like if so, this dude's bringing in guns. He's there to go. I think he's there to set up this dope ass room, like a big selling point to sell these guns. But obviously, some 3-letter agency is involved, like in setting this dude up, and he's the patsy, like you're saying in the beginning of it, Joe. So like, and yeah, he gets killed before it even starts. They get in there, they shoot it all up, and then there's like lapse of time, Yeah,
you learned something from Dave Cruz, right? From Oswald.
Video camera set up in the hallway. So
I was going to mention the cameras.
You killed the guy before he can say he's a patsy.
Yeah. Okay, so this dude set up to sell small arms deal because he's there, he's gambling. It's a good way to launder money, all this shit. So what's happening is he's got a camera and a peephole, and a camera on a room service cart in the hallway. And you know why it's not for cops coming down the hallway, dude. He's thinking he's going to get out of this. Like, he's just there to sell these guns. So like, this is just me saying this. So, but
and he bought 2 meals every day.
Yeah, he bought. Well, that's a good point too. But
he bought 2 what?
So he's got these cameras. So he's got these cameras.
Okay.
So you want to know who the F is coming down the hallway, like as they're approaching. Like, are they going to come in and storm me and rob me and shit? Like that's why these cameras were there. That's what I'm thinking, dude. And like it just went all the hell, and they set the dude up, like to probably take advantage of some and push some other narrative. I don't know. It just seems that if they're that evil to try to pull, but like Casper was saying, it's been happening since these 3-letter agencies started. They're there to do this. It's weird. Like, I don't understand.
We know for a fact they kill people, James. Yeah. I mean, we know for a fact we go to war for contracts.
And it's sad, dude. Like, it's upsetting, man. And we see this so much now, and you're becoming numb to it, dude. It's just like, now you're gonna be at a Taco Bell one day and it's gonna get blown up or something. It's like, what the hell, dude? Like, I mean, we had shootings here. Casper mentioned copycats. The next night,
right? Yeah, in Ohio there was a shooting
about by me, dude. Yeah, Joe, you talked about it on your show, right? I listened to it the other night.
Yep.
And we talked about it when we were doing our show on like Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday when that happened. So the same time, like, but anyway, yeah, like there's right in Ohio, there's a shooting at a school, like a sporting complex, so these copycat things. I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like, but, and then is it too, and that's what, like with Jerry and everyone, we keep talking, like, what's the bigger thing? What was going on besides this?
It's ushering in the police state, plain and simple.
Yeah. You see pictures of these cops, dude, they look like fucking Marines. I mean,
you know what? I want to point something about the police right now. I mean, I don't know if this has always gone on, and I just didn't pay attention to it. But I mean, even on film, I mean, everywhere, I'm starting to see the same look.
The militarization look, right?
Every cop car is black and white.
Oh, yeah. That's a federal program.
Every freaking every uniform is black. Everything. I mean, it's all one.
That's
It's all one
program. It's a federal
You
program.
want to
I
look at
think it's
the occult
but-
symbolism
We're
of the
moving toward a
police
national
state?
police force.
Hold on,
Look
guys.
at
Hold
it.
on, one at a time. One at a time.
Dave, you're still scratchy as hell.
Yeah, dude, your
Yeah, I
audio is pretty bad.
I know.
If you want to look at the occult symbolism of the police state, anybody that, and I've been trying to get this guy on my show, but he'll Mark Passio goes into this and tells you exactly what the police is all about, and it's all occultist. It's all set up by design.
Hey,
It's
I
all-
want to do
Yeah.
an esoteric look at this, a show tomorrow night. You want to come on? And
Yeah,
we'll talk
dude.
about it in depth, and that's all we'll talk about.
Yeah, man, it's there for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're gonna-
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but you just reminded me, like, dude, you got to be in there.
Yeah, it's on their uniforms. It's on everything. We see it. It's everywhere. It's an occult symbol to let you know that it's a magical sigil, man. I know I sound crazy, but I've been using it
No,
since
Jerry
the beginning
knows.
of time, dude. And they didn't
He's
set it
absolutely
up
right.
in the United States for no reason. I mean, they could have used a donkey, but they didn't. You know, they used these stars for reasons. You know.
Yeah.
I hope Dave fixed his audio. I think he's going to jump back in, but
I hope so. Yeah.
as an
Yeah,
investigator, you got
I
to
just-
look at things like that.
Yeah, and look how remember after Ferguson, Obama under pressure pulled back on militarizing some of the police, and then right after this administration took office, they immediately Jeff Sessions immediately undid that, and now they're remilitarizing the police force. So, as we go, the Democrats are in control. What we perceive as Democrats. There's more of a pushback from their constituents to not militarize the police. Now the Republicans are in control. Everybody expects them to do that. It's like, oh, well, we expect them to do that because that's the Republicans. And again, I go back to, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. And, they're waging war against the middle class from two different angles. And,
It's there to divide. It's there to divide.
It's
like,
just dividing
if
everybody.
this dude, if this guy, the shooter guy, if he was a Republican, it would be plastered everywhere. They're not saying so. Obviously, this guy's affiliation has got to be Democratic. And he started buying a lot of these guns before the election. So,
well, I mean, that's being plastered everywhere too, man. They're
that's
trying
true.
to turn
That
this
could
into
be
a
disinfo, but
I've
yeah.
already
I'm not
seen
gonna buy
pictures
these
of this
Democrats.
dude's face with Nazi symbols on his head saying
Yeah.
make sure everybody understands that this guy was a Trump hating Democrat because that's what's
Yeah.
important. Now, here's what's important. The guy's a nutcase, whoever did
Oh,
this.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, or
I'm not
if the
denying
government
that.
killed us, then they sacrificed their own people for
And
their own
that's
profit.
sick. That's
Yeah,
sick
and
as
I
hell.
don't think this guy was a Democrat. I don't think he was a Republican. He might have one way or the other, but anybody that's pushing, Joe's right. He must pushing that
But if-
narrative.
Yeah, and if he's a small time dealer, like this dude is all over the place. Like you said, Casper, he's going to the Philippines. He's going here. He's going there. He's going all these different places. He's undercover.
That's true.
I know, but like, I guess if I'm,
All we hear about,
I'm not
this
trying
is
to
the
give
thing
him
that
a
bothers me,
narrative.
is that- I know, but he's been given one, and we're all
I
repeating
know
it.
it sucks.
And it's like these are just stories that we heard from someone who
They
heard
are.
from someone else. Who, it's
Well,
I guess so. Right?
Then if you look at it from a detective point of view, you have to talk to witnesses. You have to take what footage you have, and then the first thing that all detectives look for is motive. But while they're trying to piece all that, you ever watch how these detectives, and I've got a detective in my family.
First
they'll start
48.
thinking about-
Yeah.
Man, they'll start thinking about motive before they even start wrapping evidence. And he literally tells me it don't make sense, but this is how we do this. We start talking amongst each other, trying to figure out motive. Then they go out and they gather up all this evidence. And the fact is the evidence that we have, Jerry's right. We don't have anything. We've got footage of people that saying, well, there was 2 shooters or 3, but it's echoing and we don't really know if that's true. Well, we're never going to know. But I think that if we keep doing this, like the Independent Research Society, like what Casper does, well, if somehow or another we've got to get together as an underground or small group of investigators or something, because this is just going to keep happening, man. I don't want this to happen. Those people didn't deserve that.
And then if all this is being pushed out, what it's doing, it's muddying us. This what we're trying to do, like as a community.
Yeah.
And breaking things down and looking at this stuff in a bigger picture, you know. So without the mainstream media aspect. So like and as these things come out and all the narrative is going to be on the news, look at these crazy idiots, look what they're trying to say, they're all conspiracy freaks and this and that. It's just muddying the people that really do the research and look into it, you know. I think it's just over time it's a battle against the alternative media to try to bring it back to mainstream media and think they're going to try to spin it to make themselves look good and try to make us look like we don't know what the hell we're talking about when it's plain as day. As people looking at this stuff.
I agree. I totally agree with you, James.
I mean, and the president going to the hospital to shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, what would be real nice is if, someone like goes, okay, well, I know, my nephew or my uncle or whoever lives in Vegas, and someone could have called and said, okay, dude, can you please run down to the area, snap some pictures, shoot some video, even if it was a day later, and of the area, of the building, and then we sitting here have a reliable source. You look, for example, at all the hoaxed UFO videos that come out on a regular basis. And then you look at the video that came out of East Eddy Ranch, was it last week? Okay. Now that video that came out of East Eddy Ranch, pretty much everyone in this room right now, we know that video is real. We believe it's real because one of several things, okay, is that we know someone personally who knows the guy that shot the video. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we know that's a verifiable source. We know it's not hoaxed. Okay. And, so we know that video, that UFO video out of East Eddy Ranch is good. It's not fake. Right?
Looks pretty legit, man.
It's a legit video. Now, yeah. and we all know it's legit because we know, well, I don't know the guy personally there. I know people have vouched for him and I trust those people. So now, if we would have had somebody, in what you're saying, more of a network where, hey, I know so-and-so who's in Vegas, call them up or her up or whoever when it's safe for them. We don't want them to put their lives in danger. Go down, shoot some clips around the building, outside the area, so that we got something that's verifiable from a source that we trust and that we know. Because everything else that's popping up in social media, these video clips and everything else, it's very difficult to trace the source back where they're getting their information. And for people coming up going, oh, he was pro-Trump, he was anti-Trump, he was this, he was that. One, we don't know what other sources for this. And to say, oh, they found this literature in his room, really, because I don't think that even if it was a regular investigation, that this whole thing was real and the guy did it all on his own, they're not going to be releasing that detail yet.
That's
not yet.
That's the point.
Not
that's
yet.
the point.
They're not going to release the detail yet.
That's the point. That's what James was saying, is that's the reason why we're doing this, is because everyone only has mainstream media to hang on to. That's all they're going to do. They're going to listen to MSNBC. They're going to listen to Fox. They're going to listen to CNN.
Turn off your televisions.
You have to, man. You got to bail from
Well, at the same time, Jerry, you kind of got to watch what they're doing as well.
You don't need the
Well, if they're saying one thing.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
Watch us.
Yeah, there's going to be grains of truth in there. And what I'm saying is, we got to watch mainstream media to know what they're saying. But at the same point, we need to be careful about what pops up on our social media and alternative media, that their sources need to be verifiable. That, like I said about the video from East Eddy, we know somebody who's vouching for the person that took the video. And, in this situation here, we don't have someone who's vouching for the source of, oh, they found this literature in the guy's room or they found that in there. It's just something that's spreading through the internet. We don't know if that's true or untrue. I'm not saying it is or isn't. We don't know because we're not able to verify the source, whether it's mainstream media or something that's popping up in social media or alleged alternative media. And a lot of these people are just going in to stoke the flames for clicks, for hits, just because they get off on people. Yep. And the brainwashing in this country is so bad right now. It's so bad. When I was with my sister in the hospital last week, Tuesday, after her husband died, I looked up the TV screen and I said, why isn't the military and the U.S. Navy down in Puerto Rico? The nurse that was working with my sister went off in this whole pro-Trump stance on me and went ape. It's like Puerto Rico was a trigger word. Okay. Then the following afternoon,
programming.
I'm in a different hospital with my uncle who's getting a calf put down his legs with a camera to look to see the blockage. He's going to get some stents in a couple of weeks, I think. And I'm getting a carrot cake, and I lean back and look at the TV screen, and finally the USS Comfort is underway, and I go, about damn time the Navy got down to Puerto Rico. And the lady behind the counter, white Caucasian, I'm not trying to be racist, I'm just describing both women, about the same age in their early 50s. She did the same thing the woman did at the other hospital 30 some miles away, went on this pro-Trump tirade and how you can't trust mainstream media, it's all fake and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
And all I said was U.S. Navy, Puerto Rico. It's like they were like trigger words. And
yeah, that's the power of the subconscious. That's what the media does to you.
The media does to people. And we look at everything.
Watch TV.
And, yeah, I'm not trying to take away from the shooting or go off topic, but everything that we're seeing and what we're seeing play out now, whether this was something they did at the spur of the moment as a plan, or it's actually just some lunatic went crazy, but either way is, you look at everything, that went on for leading up to the election from the time Obama became president all the way through his presidency, everything that went on, stopgap budgets, almost through the whole entire thing. Every time they had a stopgap budget, they got new legislation passed that the people didn't want. We ended up getting another form of CISPA. And, now we have a guy that by all intents and purposes, I'm not saying listen to the mainstream media and it's all this and that. When I talk to a Trump supporter, I'm trying not to engage him anymore.
It's impossible.
Trump supporter, you can't. But my one comeback was, dude, I don't trust the mainstream media. Just look at the guy's tweets. Look what he says. Look what he says on camera, dude. And it's like when you did that whole thing coming off the bus, where he was grabbing by whatever, and within 6 hours or whatever it was, the mainstream media's up there telling everybody, oh, the polls are showing that, it's Teflon Don, nothing sticks. And you got the Trump supporters out there are going, oh, yeah, they're right, that doesn't stick. They're being told that it doesn't stick before they've even had a chance to process it in their head. And any ordinary presidential candidate, that would have been the end. That would have been the end of it.
Now, Paul Francis Young has chimed in on Facebook, by the way, Casper, real quick, to give us a European point of view on this because they've had experience with this over there. And he says, what's the guy's motive? Think about it. Money, fame, and fortune to shoot a bunch of people. It's a pasty setup. False flag carry on. Paid military companies done this. Possibly, contractors. But why? To eliminate the impossible. No matter what's left, no matter how improbable, it's got to be the truth. People want your guns. They want you disarmed.
Totally.
That's what he's saying. That happens, and it happened in Europe. It's starting to happen here.
I got one more angle I can throw in here, if you don't mind. That the CEO of Mandalay Bay allegedly sold a large portion of stock in September. And we need to look at this could be possibly a corporate espionage move. That somebody
the CEO dumped his stocks?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know either. If we can verify that, that would be...
I will find the video I heard that in and paste that for you. But the point is that you could be looking at another group, another hotel group. I don't want to say anyone's name, but ABC Group could want that land. Since this hotel is now tainted, nobody's going to want to stay there, especially not on the 32nd floor. It's got this stink to it now. So it'll be knocked down and they'll build a new hotel and it'll be, there'll be some memorial to the massacre, I'm sure, built with it.
Yeah, or it'll turn into a parking lot.
Right. So we really need to not really focus on government because it could be both, actually. It could be corporate espionage. Yeah, obviously contractors. But those contractors could be like active military too. We don't know.
What do you mean, like
mercs?
Yeah,
like mercenaries?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Think about that.
Exactly.
That would make more sense than this guy doing it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, and take a look at
and you got to follow the money. Sorry, that's what I was going to say. Follow the money, because that's where
There you go.
That's where I got to with following the money.
That's why I like the arms deal thing gone bad with Mercs, and the Mercs bust in there and shoot everybody. You know, it's like,
yeah. I mean, look at the Department of Education. Betsy DeVos, her brother, I think it was a brother-in-law, Eric Prince, owned Blackwater, which is mercenaries.
That's
I'm
so
not saying
slavery.
I'm not saying they're tied into this. Probably not. But
how does that even leave?
Are all over the place. You know.
I mean, internationally, how are mercenary? I mean, I know you guys are going to chop my head off for saying this, but
I could tell when we get off being live, I'll talk to you about it.
It just don't. It's so evil, man. It don't even make it sounds so messed up. The mercenaries.
You hear more about it, yeah.
There's so many. Again, there's so many avenues we can take with this.
We're expanding the paradigm just talking about it. It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like
absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening,
dude. It's so fishy. People need to,
and that's what muddies it, though. I think because we don't know info and come up with whatever we want. Yeah, it was butterflies shooting out of there.
I do think a lot of people who wouldn't normally have noticed this as anything but what has been reported are saying, "Wait a minute, a lot of this doesn't add up." Like
what if it was one of your family members?
That's the first thing I said. First thing I said.
You'd be tripping. I mean, yeah.
What if it was one of your family members and they said, "Yeah, it was this Stephen Paddock guy that did it"?
Right. They'd be like,
what would you say? Why?
No way.
Why did he kill my family? Why did he kill my brother, my mother? Why? I would be into this. Why?
Because he's an Antifa.
Oh, he's just some crazy guy.
He's a crazy guy they set up. I think it's a crazy guy they set up. Somehow, some way. I mean,
people are just naive.
People die, and it's horrible.
When you're in a state of trauma like that, in shock, and they tell you something that's fact, and if you believe the media is telling you the truth always, then hell.
Remember when it first happened, that young girl, that teenager, like they were playing that clip within like 20 minutes or something of the girl, like talking about the two I think they like Mexican lady and her boyfriend or whatever going around telling everyone, "You're all gonna die, you're all gonna die,"
right?
And they kicked that chick out, and well, that girl left because she was freaked. And
she said they're everywhere, they're all around.
They're all gonna die. So, and they were playing, like I said, they were playing that within like 20 minutes or something. I mean, that came out like super quick.
One of the survivors reported shell casings.
So right there, immediately, your mind is just like, "Oh, bullshit." That's like that subconscious toss right into the mix, and then you're like, "Oh, bullshit." Yeah, like something's up.
But isn't it interesting that people process that as disinformation immediately?
Because it could be a trap.
No, you mean a report of that lady saying that?
Yeah.
That it was all disinfo?
No, but I'm saying
I was kind of thinking
when she said it, they processed it in their mind as disinformation. It's a lie.
Yes,
is that what you mean? I got you.
The situation,
which reinforces the public narrative. It's
right.
It's a dirty trick. It's Edward Bernays. Just read some of his books.
Oh yeah,
Hegelian dialectic stuff, man.
Exactly. Yeah. There's already gun legislature going through Congress right now. It's already being voted on or discussed or whatever the hell they do in there. Jerk off on it. I don't know. Some kind of magic.
I mean, do you guys ever watch the votes when they vote for that stuff?
Yeah, like, it's ridiculous.
It's the craziest thing you've ever. When you see these people voting on stuff, and when they get up and speak about it, and they're about to vote, it really makes you wonder. And if you actually watch them, you're like, "Damn, are these the people that we voted for?" Maybe 2 or 3 or 4, possibly logical people will stand up with an agenda for the American people, and the rest are slaughtering each other like a mob in ancient Rome.
Yeah, yep. Guys, we can keep on going on, but I'm going to give each of you a minute to have a closing thoughts and put out your information, where they can find you and where they can contact you and this and that. I'm going to go ahead and start with Casper.
Oh, okay. CasperProducts.com. You can go get my books. Links there. Ebooks are 99 cents US, available worldwide, and print books are available there. And thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it. It was an interesting episode.
Absolutely. What's your final thought, real quick, there, Casper?
On all this, I'm going to say that this is probably part of a bigger plan, and you know, it fits in somewhere. You know, a month from now, you know, this will be something they'll talk about in the same respect as they do, you know, like the other massacres and shootings that have occurred in the U.S. over the last few years. This will fall right into that category, and we'll keep hearing like we're talking now, where the conspiracy theories will come and go, and there'll be multiple angles on it. And I think that's what we're going to get for quite a while on it.
All right. Thanks, Casper. Go ahead, James.
Well, I mean, I have a tough time with it because on our podcast, Cruzin with Steak, you can find it. We just do a fun podcast. It's me and Grim Steak. He's not here tonight because he had a pet die today. So he's a little bummed out. So I think he crashed out a little early. Or else he'd be here. Grim's always around, man. Yeah. I think. But anyway,
we have a moment of silence for Guts.
Guts.
Dude, I don't know what I'd do if I lost my pet.
Yeah.
Quickly,
just
guys. Sorry, we got to wrap it up though.
I know. And anyway, man. Yeah. I just want to say I'm sorry to all the people that are affected by the tragedy. It's bullshit. Love you all.
Right. Jerry?
Yeah, hey, I dropped my channel link in.
You're listening to Lighting the Void Radio with Joseph Rupe. Stay up to date.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. I dropped my channel in chat. I got cool videos. I host a podcast or whatever show tomorrow night called The Hive, which we're going to talk about this if you want to come. If you want to be on it, let me know.
Right on.
I just tell everyone, question everything. That's
always.
All. Even what you believe is truth, question it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Jerry. Joe?
Well, you can hear my music. I accidentally clicked the button by it, but it's at lightingthevoid.com. I do a live radio show here on the Fringe FM. It's lightingthevoid.com. Tuesday and Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. We have guests. We have great talks. We get into the esoteric quite a bit. If you want to know my final thoughts, don't let yourself become polarized. Just like Jerry said, read everything, believe nothing. Do not let the media or anybody polarize you and force you to choose a side on anything, because the people this happened to, matter more than what you're seeing on your TV. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a great evening. Unfortunately, I had a lot of stupid sound issues like always. Casper Parks, James Cruzin with Steak, and Jerry Cthulhu, and Joe Rupe of KTLK, the Fringe FM. Thank you all for being here tonight. Also, a special thanks to Lupe, who was here on the phone, and we'll get Lupe back on Beyond the Strange with some more cryptid action, because Bigfoot's still out there. We need to get him too. So, hey, everyone, thanks again, y'all, for coming out tonight. And remember to visit beyondthestrange.com, and 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday nights on the Fringe.fm. Thanks, everyone. See y'all. Have a good night, and hasta.
Thank you.